So Harbor Landing was brought to us by Franklin Development Group outside of Philadelphia. It was in land development when it came along, probably, about 2 or 3 months into it. They asked us to begin running numbers, budgets for them. That became a 4-year exercise to get the project to scale to where they needed it to scale to. And they also had a lot of issues with the municipality in New Jersey because it was their first New Jersey project, as well as it was our first one in a very long time, probably about 15 years since the last project in New Jersey. We did partner on it with the Bannett Group out of Cherry Hill, New Jersey, because they are a New Jersey company that made life easier for both us and Franklin Development. So initially our role was all the pricing.
It was.
We put the project together, what it was going to cost, and then when it became necessary for us to have a partner for working in New Jersey, we then came right alongside the Bannett Group and worked hand in hand with them on pricing. Our responsibilities are more like a construction manager in all of this. We handle the client. Now that we are at the, 75-80% point of completion, frankly, our role has become pretty standard as far as deal with the client and attend site meetings on a weekly basis to make sure it's all rolling along.
It's special in how well it's gone and the geographic distance between our home office and where the project is located. It's also special in that we have a very tenured partner developer on the project, and that they have a demanding group of investors, and it's not only keeping the project where it needs to be, but keeping and managing expectations for a number of sophisticated folks that have done this before.
I think really what Harbor Landing did for us is it took us into another means by which to accomplish a project. Everything up till then for our multifamily had been traditional general contractor. With Harbor Landing, we didn't want to lose our client we had 4 years into. So we had to come up with a creative way to make that happen. So it is our first joint venture as a contractor on a multifamily project. So it allows us to scale. In the truest vernacular, a general contractor is a contractor who holds the contracts of subcontractors and the trades and vendors, but more importantly, self-performs a large amount of the work too. Rarely are we a true general contractor. We generally fall into the category of at-risk construction manager, and what that means is we do hold all the contracts, so we are at risk in that sense. So we hold the trade contracts, the vendor purchase orders, but what we self-perform on those jobs is limited. We are 90% of the time we're an at-risk construction manager. So the project kept going all the way through what I would call the height of COVID-19, which was April, May. So we never had any labor shortages, which was fantastic. The next thing that you worry about with COVID-19 is supply chain. Right. So the initial supply chains became lumber fluctuations and availability. Fortunately, we had the foresight to lock in all of our lumber pricing back in 2018 when we signed the contracts. There have been some pieces of lumber that went up 110%, and it has not affected our pricing nor the client's price whatsoever. We did run into some shortages with pressure-treated lumber after the first 4 buildings were up. So what we did is we bought all the pressure-treated lumber for the remaining 4 buildings at one time, so when it did arrive, we have everything. We did run into some supply chain issues with windows. We did the same thing there. Next thing that came under pressure and still actually is under pressure are appliances. So we're attempting to order 4 buildings of appliances at one time. So COVID-19 actually did not slow down construction progress at Harbor Landing. The second part then you look at is how did leasing go? Leasing did not drop off due to COVID-19. Matter of fact, I think it was heightened there for a while with our move-ins coming in. So applications remained steady. If you're outside this project, I don't think you realize that there was ever a pandemic with regard to that project. It had no slowing down. Well, we started the project in late 2018, and we'll be wrapping it up in the first quarter of 2021.